Welcome back to our special election night coverage here on MSNBC. We do have a call. This is a congressional election in Ohio. This is a Cleveland area district, a very blue district. This was opened up by Marcia Fudge being confirmed to President Biden's cabinet as HUD secretary tonight. Democrat Shontel Brown has beaten the Republican candidate Laverne Gore. Again, NBC News just making that projection in Ohio's 11th congressional district. Congratulations to the Congresswoman-elect Shontel Brown. It is just about 9:30 on the East Coast right now. We do have a projection to make. This is the Ohio 15th Congressional District. This is a seat that was vacated in May, a surprise resignation from a moderate Republican congressman named Steve Stivers. Running tonight to succeed Steve Stivers, Republican Mike Carey and Democratic State Representative Allison Russo. There was a late endorsement for Russo from President Biden in this race, but this is a fairly heavily Republican district. This is a district that Trump won by 14 plus points. NBC News now projects that the winner in Ohio 15 will be the Republican lobbyist, Mike Carey, who's running for that seat. This follows our earlier call earlier this evening in the 11th congressional district in Ohio. This is a district that was vacated when Representative Marcia Fudge left to become HUD secretary in President Biden's cabinet. That's a Cleveland area district that's very heavily Democratic. And tonight, Shontel Brown is the Congresswoman-elect to succeed Marcia Fudge in that district.
NBC News has determined that when all the votes are in, Glenn Youngkin is the governor-elect of the Commonwealth of Virginia. He was able to piece together a victory, keeping Donald Trump at bay while going hard on state issues and not turning away all aspects of Trumpism either. But in the end, it was something like student and parent rights at school that allowed him, as a relative newcomer, to come in and defeat the one-time governor of the Commonwealth who was running for another bite at the apple. Terry McAuliffe, a fixture in Democratic politics going back to the Clinton years, goes down to defeat. This will be a big postmortem for the Democrats. We're waiting word from Youngkin head.
We now have a call for the lieutenant governor of Virginia. The Republican Winsome Sears will become the lieutenant governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia. And just over to that point for half a second, Steve, in Virginia, it's the same situation. We had very heavy day of voting. In fact, very heavy turnout across the state generally. But the day of voting is what decided what happened in terms of how Glenn Youngkin and Winsome Sears have won this thing. There's still very much a contest for control of the state legislature in Virginia. Right now, it's looking like it's still about 50-50. Democrats may hold on to control of the legislature.
Yeah, it's very close on that front. And we can actually show you, I believe, here you go. Here is the lieutenant governor result for for Virginia. And I think it jumps right out at you. Again, this is the lieutenant governor result. This is the governor result. They're tracking almost perfectly here. This is one of those things you see in politics. A rising tide can lift all boats. So you see Youngkin winning statewide. Now the projection for Winsome Sears, the other outstanding statewide race in Virginia. This one is not called yet, but look at this. This is the incumbent attorney general, a Democrat, Mark Herring, 97% in. This race is a little bit closer than those other two, but it's Herring right now who trails by 1.6 points, by 50,000 votes. So Herring has got a pretty daunting task in front of him. This race not called by our decision desk, but he can't feel good about the fact that he's trailing by that much and that we just called the lieutenant governor's race and that we've already called the governor's race. And again, you can see these are tracking pretty closely together.
We just got some breaking news. NBC News now projects that Democrat Phil Murphy has held on to the governor's seat in New Jersey, narrowly beating out Republican Jack Ciattarelli. Murphy had been polling in double digits, but turnout was low, and the race was much tighter than had been predicted. Nevertheless, New York Times points out Murphy is the first Democrat in 44 years to get reelected to the governor's office in New Jersey. And you can't understand what happened without going to Steve Kornacki at the big board with the latest. Steve, what do we got?
Yeah, Chris, well, here you go. You can see Murphy all day here. We've been getting small updates from different counties, and Murphy had been building that lead, now sitting there at about 22,000 votes. Now he is over 50%. He is 1 full percentage point ahead of Jack Ciattarelli. And just what we're looking at here in terms of the vote that was coming in today and the vote still to come, it was generally one of two things. Either it was vote from core Democratic areas. I'll give you an example. We're still waiting on more vote to come out of Essex County. This is the biggest single Democratic vote producing county in New Jersey. So we know whatever comes in here, particularly given the exact precincts we're talking about here in Essex County, we know it's going to be a big Murphy vote that still comes out of there. The other thing we've been waiting on has been absentee vote, has been vote by mail. And the vote by mail just tends to be overwhelmingly Democratic. Some of these counties, it has taken them an exceptionally long time to get that vote by mail count reported out. One of the reasons for that in New Jersey, they did not allow the counties until midnight on Election Day to begin processing all of these mail ballots they received. So there was a backlog there, it seems, and it took some extra time. So every reason to believe that the vote still to come in here in New Jersey is only going to help Murphy. But the final margin, wherever it lands here, I don't think it's going to be too much more than what you're looking at right now. This is, as you said, this was the scare of Phil Murphy's life here. Certainly the Murphy campaign, not even Republicans in New Jersey thought this thing was going to be that competitive. Biden wins by 16 a year ago. Maybe Murphy wins by 1.5 points.